And good morning. I want to welcome everyone to Coffee Club. A little bit of technical difficulty, but it is Friday. That means my partner in crime, my co-host this morning, is Aaron from, actually today you'd be actually from Salem Crossing. You know, you wear a couple of hats there. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
And glad to have you with us this morning. And so anyway, let's thank our sponsors, Aaron.
We have Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Fox Pearly Wealth Management, Leader One Financial, Fantastic Sands, and Dr. Black's Eye Associates.
Great sponsors, and we're anyway want to thank them for sure. It's kind of a crazy Friday, but you know, there's a lot of fog going on. Aaron, I want to remind everybody to watch out for those school buses. There probably maybe still some out, or anybody on driving, because we've actually had some schools that actually have are on a 2-hour delay. Not our county schools, but that have, you know, because of the fog, and it's very dangerous, and want everybody to stay safe.
Yeah, I could hardly see on the way here from Milltown this morning, so.
Right. Well, and I think you have to remember that, you know, the low beams, use your low beams, right? All right. And just drive accordingly and drive safe. So actually that was Jennings County School that actually was on a 2-hour delay. So, you know, they obviously, you know, I call it the fog monster, you know?
Yeah.
So watch out for that fog monster. Okay, by phone we are supposed to have our we're going to be talking with our race car driver this morning, and hopefully if he'll get a chance to call in, we'd love to have that. It's been a crazy morning, have a little technical difficulties, but Radio 101, we are on the air. So Aaron, just hold your head a certain way, okay? So that to make sure the tower's working right, okay? Don't move, Aaron, okay? Just kidding. I do want to say that let's find out what today is. Let's celebrate. This is a day definitely to celebrate, because yay, it is a Friday, right? And Friday for sure. All right, so today is the 29th day of September. We're getting towards the end of the month. Downhill slide. Today is Ask a Stupid Question Day. And you know what? I always ask stupid questions.
Oh, I can't wait to go to work and do that.
I know. Ask a stupid question.
Yeah.
Ooh, what are you going to ask them? Do you have anything in mind?
Oh, do we take patients here?
Where are the people in here? You know, what's going on here? Yeah. Ask Stupid Question Day. Well, you know, hang on. And you know what? The old saying is, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we, you know, are supposed to be saying? So, but anyway, for those, ask a stupid question, but definitely follow it up and tell them that it is Ask a Stupid Question Day, so that people have a little more clarity on that. Today is also Broadway Musicals Day. Do you like Broadway musicals, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite?
Oh, that's a hard question. I'll have to think on it.
Okay, you think. I will tell you my favorite, Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge Phantom of the Opera fan. Yeah, and I've seen it in several places. And I think probably my favorite place to see it is in Louisville, Kentucky, Center of the Arts. They just rock it. They do such a good job. And then I love the Music Man. I love that one.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do a lot of quoting from that one, I think. I saw Cats. It was okay. It was good. It was a little different.
Yeah.
I love, I'm trying to think of all the different musicals, but I love all the musicals.
I've seen Wicked one time. That was really good. I can't think of anything else right now.
I was trying to think of the vampire. I'm trying to remember where it was at in Louisville that we saw. I just went blank, and it was really good. And like he would, like the lights would go out, and all of a sudden he would just pop up, and he would be like, it was it was like he was like right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, you know.
I think I've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show in Louisville one
yes,
time.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun one. That's a good one too. So Broadway Musical Day, I love that. This is also Confucius Day.
Huh.
Yeah, you remember how they always say Confucius Day?
Yeah.
Confucius Day, yeah.
Huh.
I have some, but they're not air appropriate.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
So I was trying to think of one, how I could twist it, but I don't think it's twistable there. Oh, German butter brat day. Oh, it shows German butter being spread on a piece of bread. Would that not be delicious, though? You know,
Can I see it?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said butter brat. I was like, ooh.
No, well, butter brat is what it's called, but I think it's like a butter spread.
In my head, I was thinking like a bratwurst.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like,
Well, you know what? Oh, you don't like bratwurst?
I do, but not a butter.
Not a butter
one.
Don't mix the two, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's butter, but it's butter brat. But I think it's a butter. But German butter. I think German butter would be delicious though.
Oh, any German food.
You know
delicious.
that's just gonna be
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how many calories. Like you don't even want to look.
No, like German chocolate cake. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm gaining weight
man.
thinking about it.
The German chocolate cake, though, the thing that I'm like really kind of you want to call me a German chocolate cake snob, I like a lot of the icing.
Oh, me too.
Well, and a lot of times they don't put all that icing; they just put like on top.
I know.
Like, and I mean, you better like I want it in between the layers.
Yeah, I want it taking a bath in it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, bring on we're here for the frosting.
Yeah.
Yeah. German Day, Goose Day. I want a duck, but you know what I mean.
My sister has a duck.
I'm so jealous.
It's the
Does she
funniest
really?
thing. Yeah.
I know.
It just like hangs out in her backyard.
Yeah. Well, I'm really wanted. Yeah, it just hangs out and just.
Yeah.
I know. I just don't want. I don't want all the things that come along with the duck.
Yeah.
I don't want the dropping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want anything. Yeah. Maybe I should just put a stuffed duck out there.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
No, I really do. I really think I would love to have one. I just It's been on my radar for a while, but I just don't know if I want to do all of that. No. Hug a vegetarian day. Okay. Not me. I'm not a vegetarian, but I'll take a hug. But
yeah.
Yeah. No.
I don't know if I know anyone that's close to me that's a vegetarian.
I know a few, and I know a few that's like done it for a little while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you and you have to give a lot of respect for those that do, because you have to make sure you get your protein.
Oh,
you know, and
yeah,
that's,
it has to be hard.
Yeah, I was talking to a lady, which I always love to find out what everybody does. But she she would have to eat peanut butter or have beans, you know what I mean? Like, and like have to try to supplement to make sure she got her protein in.
It's like cottage cheese. Can they have eggs? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think some eat eggs and
yeah,
some
I know.
don't.
See,
I don't know the difference.
I don't know either, and I think you're right about that. There's some things you do and some things you don't do. Yeah. So I don't know what the definition, but if you are a vegetarian and you're definitely getting your veggies in, we know is a good thing.
Right.
So good for them, but
absolutely,
just make sure they're doing it healthy. All right, this is also International Day Awareness of Food Loss and Waste, and we've talked about that before. I don't like to throw food out. No. I think that's a mommy in us, right?
I grew up poor. You did not throw food away.
No, I mean, no. You know, I mean, I don't like to waste food.
No.
You know. Well, I think too. You know, growing up with my house, like it was always there. You know, other people in other countries, you know, would love to have that.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I always had that
starving
one.
kids out there.
Yeah.
My mom would always say that.
Exactly. So then we feel like no wasting of the food.
Yeah.
Okay, this is also National Attend Your Grandchild's Birthday Day. All the time. I have so many that I feel like I have a birthday party every weekend.
Yeah. How many grandchildren do you have?
we'll be welcoming, not yet, but we right now have 13, but on the way we'll be 14 very soon. Well, not very soon, but a while.
Oh my
goodness.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. National Biscotti Day. Biscotti?
I don't know what that is.
It's like almost like a toast or like a cookie, like a.
Oh, I've had that.
Yeah,
okay.
I know you would. Yeah. Ooh, National Coffee Day.
Oh.
My favorite.
Mine too.
And I actually have my McDonald's coffee going right now, and the beans and everything. And I do like to try different coffees, like from around, like when you go different places. And there's some I'm really fond of, and some in Texas they've got this. It's like a pecan. It's a pecan coffee, and it's got a little bit like a nut taste. It is delicious.
It sounds
good. It is
good.
so good. And then of course, if you go to New Orleans, they have the other coffee. I want to call it. I can't remember what it's called. I can see it, but I can't think of what it's called. But it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cameron and I anytime we go to like a new town or city or anything, we find like a local coffee shop.
Right.
That's always so good.
Yeah.
Always
fun to go to. And it's funny because I went up in Brown County, and there was a local coffee shop, and everybody ordered like a flavored coffee, and I ordered it black. And they said, "Oh, you're the one that really wants to know if our coffee's good."
Yeah.
You know, because you can put sugar and creamer and caramel and pumpkin and all that, but the true test is if you can drink it black. You know what I mean? That's So National Mocha Day. I love mocha. Yeah, that's what
I'm drinking.
Drinking, yeah. National Mocha Day. I do love the mocha. I do like that.
I love mochas. Yeah. They're my favorite.
Yeah. Save the Koala Day.
Oh.
You know, they always say, koala bears, and of course, this is the experts, not me, say that, like, koala bears are really, like, well, they're so cute, and, you would think that they'd be cuddly and stuff, and they say they're not nice.
I've always heard that koala bears are mean. But they're so cute.
They get the bad rap.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the wolf in sheep's clothing, you know what I mean? They're so cute, and you just think, oh, come here. And
then, my vibe's different. Maybe they'll let me pet it.
I can see that. It's almost like a Saturday Night Live, like, you know what I mean? Like, here, come here. And then all of a sudden it attacks.
That would be me.
Yeah, that would be, I could see that too. Sport purple for Pilates Day.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I am in purple. Wait, no, that was just dumbfounded that I found it. I am in purple. Yeah, there we go. All right. The VFW Day. VFW.
Yeah.
I went yesterday. This was really cool. Andy Bush, he helps with our veterans in our community, which we're very blessed to have him, and he is a go-getter, and I'm very much happy that we have him. But they had for the Vietnam veterans, they had a special group meeting yesterday at Southern Hills, and there was a lot of our VA veterans that came out.
Aww.
And it was just like, wanted to say thank you. It's never too late to say thank you.
Yeah.
And never too late to make them feel appreciative.
Yeah.
Or appreciated, or to show that we are appreciative of them. So they got a free book. The book it had stories of Vietnam that they could read, and they also got some coffee and cookies, and it was really nice. It was very nice reception, and they're going to the different communities. They said next community they're going to go to Harrison County.
Aww.
And they need to get Scottsburg on their radar.
Yeah.
So they said that they've hit most of the northern areas, but they're hitting the south now. And so after, I don't remember what date, but they're going to go to Harrison County, and then at some point they're going to schedule something in Scottsburg.
That's wonderful.
And I think that's, I agree, and it's kind of a tough time for a lot of people that, that felt unappreciative, but also they went through a lot, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think that those are hard stories to tell.
Yeah.
But now we know how appreciative we are of them, and I thought it was a beautiful reception, very nice, and so well done, and hats off to our group and Andy for helping to organize it and everybody. So that was very nice. So the VFW is going strong here, and of course we know that they're not on Main Street anymore. Well, they've actually, the old Hilltop Plaza, they have that, and they actually have the VFW up there now. So, right? Am I right? I think so. Yeah, right. Also, World Heart Day, and it shows a big bowl of red raspberries. World Heart Day. It's amazing how many good things are good for your heart.
Yeah.
Blueberries, raspberries. Right? There's so many different
foods that are good for your heart.
Yeah.
Heart healthy foods, yeah.
And I don't think sometimes we talk about heart health. A lot of times we think about like other things, but and especially like in women,
Yeah, I think that we focus so much on overall health and don't think of the small specific.
Exactly. So those are the holidays get on enjoy, and I think we have Mr. Kimball with us. Good morning.
Morning. Sorry.
No, why are you apologizing? No, we're having some technical difficulties. I think we're having our Monday on our Friday, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Is that possible? Right. Well, we've had some technical difficulties, but the main thing is that we're all here and we're gathered, and we're so glad to have you with us. And this is Will Kimmel, and when you say the name Kimmel, everybody like goes crazy because we all know that this is the family of racing, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Well, yeah. I just want to know, like, did you have any other choice in life?
Oh yeah, yeah. There for a while. I ran lawn service for about 9 years, and
Oh, wow.
something to do on the side though. I mean, I kind of was kidding myself, to be honest. I raced all the way through, and it's pretty much been the only thing I know. I was at the racetrack at 2 weeks old.
Oh my goodness, I figured that. So, Will, I've got a question. So, when you're driving that lawnmower, do you kind of get that racing vibe? I mean, do you, I tried one of those zero turns, and in my head, I thought if I go faster, I'll get it done quicker. And I was zooming. So, did you have that? Did you ever have that whenever you were mowing yards?
Well, that's the problem. It's like when you do this for a living, and you always try to do everything like you're like, I got to be efficient. I can't waste no time. I can't waste this. I can't waste that. So it's not just in cutting the grass. It's everything I do is like do it as fast as you can and do it right and don't mess up.
Well, Will, if we have lunch, you're gonna have to slow it down because I'm not gonna I won't be able to keep up with you. Okay.
It takes a while for me to eat because I eat so much. So you're good.
Well, I bet because I believe in you got to fuel that machine yourself, because you've got to give a lot of, which I'd love to talk about because I think it's so important to realize what an athlete you have to be a race car driver, and how great you have to take care of your body.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you get my uncle was he would run for 2 or 3 hours straight and never drink water. I don't understand how he did that. I drink like a fish. I'll drink a gallon doing that. But there's a thing called race condition, and it's like when you've done it for so long, you know what to expect. You know what your body's going to go through. You know how to prepare for that. You know how to handle it in the race car. The biggest thing is like the heat gets to you, but the mental aspect of it. It becomes a hitting on your marks within inches. Especially when we go to Salem this weekend. That's a place where you can move around 4 or 5 inches here or there, and you won't see that from outside the racetrack. But inside the car, it feels like you're moving a ton. And mentally, you just got to be ready for that, and you just got to be ready to go give it 110% for 200 laps and stay on top of the car and take a beating.
Right. And Will, I'm kind of backtracking. I should have, you are actually the nephew of Frank Kimmel, and which is everybody knows his name, and you actually you've actually done your own pride as far as you are the youngest. Am I correct? No, Frank was the youngest super late model track champion at Salem, right? Speedway?
With me.
Oh, that was you. 19 years. 19 years old. How did that feel?
Surreal. When you're 19 years old, you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. So it's like, well, yeah, I'm the champion. I should have done that. And you look back on it, and you're like, absolutely not. I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
That was a whole different deal. I was racing against pretty much my dad's arch rival from when my dad raced late models in the late 90s, and he finished second to me in points, and I had to out-qualify him and finish directly behind him in the feature, and I went out first. We were fast time that night. He qualified second, which gave me enough lead to where all I had to do was finish behind him in the race. He won, I finished second, and we won by 1 point. So there was a lot of drama. There was, we didn't get along with him at that point. Have a ton of respect for him, but that night was really special. My first win at 17 up there was really special in late model. Salem's just been an awesome place for our family in general, but it's definitely home, and it's somewhere where we need to win the ARCA car, I'll tell you that.
Right. Well, it's exciting, and of course we're talking about this weekend is going to be the ARCA Menards Series 200, and it's going to be this Saturday. And the grandstands open at 3 p.m., so racing will begin at 6 p.m.
Yeah, we have that. They have the street stock. They all call it the Great American Stock. Those are going to run with us. That's something that I ran last year. We've had some really good success in that series, but this weekend our focus is on the ARCA car. So I think our race gets going at 7 or 7:30. It's 200 laps, and it's going to be pretty exciting.
So how do you prepare? We always ask, how do you prepare? Because Salem Speedway, we know, is unique, And how do you prepare to get ready for those high banks and to do all you need to do?
Well, the biggest thing is right now is trying to get my car to where it will compete with the Gibbs and the Venturini and Rev Racing, which is the NASCAR team, you know. So the biggest thing, the biggest battle I have right now is making sure my equipment will do what their equipment does. And if we're close, we'll be fine because you know that's the name of the game at this point. You know, when you're racing up the ladder at this series, it's all about your equipment. The driver really doesn't carry the equipment like that used to be. You know, you got to have a race car that can go out there, go fast, sustain the speed, and get to the end. So that's why I was late calling. You know, I come in the shop about an hour and a half early this morning, trying to make sure everything was buttoned up and where it needs to be. And it's hard for a team like us to do this, but, you know, Salem's something that we had, you know, we circle it so many times it goes through the paper. So this car's got a new motor, complete new front end on it, from the firewall board, frame included, new body, and we're doing everything we can to get ready. As far as myself, I've dropped about 12 pounds in the past 2 weeks, which probably isn't healthy, but I went on a pretty hard cut to make sure that I felt like I should come race time, and we'll just go from there.
Will, it's the eye of the tiger, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah, it's funny you say that. They used to play that song before my dad's races in the 90s over at Louisville when I was growing up. That was like the theme song when the cars rolled out.
Well, how apropos. So what about then, so how did you do it? How did you drop you know, we are women here. We want to know, how did you do that? That would be
I work out pretty regular, and then I cut back really hard. Just as far as I cut carbs a little bit, but I honestly just cut my intake and really try to drink, like, push water pretty hard, and I've always been pretty successful doing that. And trying to stay under 250 pounds is pretty tough, but it helps being taller. So.
Oh yeah. Well, now let's go back on talking about, like, you were going in the shop today and checking your car. So is that something that, like, do you make sure you can maintenance? Like, do you know your car inside and out? Can you do your own, like, are you your own, I guess, mechanic then?
Yes, yeah. Well, there's me. So my dad's a little older at this point. Dad's 66, but he's still a huge asset in the shop because he can just shortcut everything. But this car in particular has kind of been like my baby. So I do, you know, I've mounted the motor. I've done everything on the car except I don't put the body on and I don't do the framework. So the actual frame chassis of the car, I don't do work like that. I do a little bit on that side, but I don't do the main stuff. Mm-hmm. But essentially the frame and the body we didn't do. And then me and Zach, the one guy I got in the shop, me and him have done everything else. But this has kind of been like my personal project, this car, because I knew it was going to Salem. So he put the fuel cell in for me, and then, you know, I've done seat belts, wired it, mounted the motor, run all the oil lines, the water lines, completely plotted the front end geometry, pretty much. Yeah, that's kind of what separates us from everybody else. To be honest, that's the biggest thing. We race for a living, and we do it pretty much all in house. Mainly because we're on an island up here in Indiana. We're not in Mooresville, so that kind of makes you figure it out.
No, I think that's great. No, I love that. You know, that's, to me, that ought to be just like the first thing before you get in that car. You got to be able to, you got to know your car. You know what I mean? And I think that to me gives you an advantage. And you know if something's not sounding right, something's not feeling right. I mean, that's, you know, that to me is just ought to be just something that everyone should know. But I know some do not. You know, and it's amazing. You know how they work and they do good too. But it's just amazing how I would think that would be an advantage to know. But let's go back to your dad. So when he, like, on race day, like, what's his, like, is he in your ear? Is he your earpiece person, or what do you call it, the spotter, or where is he at usually?
So when Dad was the crew chief when Frank won 7 of his 10 championships, and then Dad was actually a 4-time late model champion at Louisville Motor Speedway. So from 95 to 98, Dad won. He stopped racing, went to crew chief for Frank in 99. Then from 2000 to 2007, they won all the ARCA championships. So they went 7 years straight, not losing a championship together.
Wow.
So Dad was the crew chief the whole time, and Dad's still the crew chief to this day. So he spots when he needs to, but he doesn't like to. So we have somebody taking care of the spotters deal this weekend, and then Dad takes care of make sure everything is running like it should in the pits. And I'll make sure the car gets through tech, and Dad just kind of like general manage and make sure that I can do my job and make sure the car gets through tech and we're ready to practice. And then he just kind of makes sure everything else is taken care of on the side until race time. And then race time, he'll be the crew chief, and we just we work really well together. It took a little bit because the adjustment from Frank driving to my driving, we don't like the same thing in the car, so that took a couple of years to get going. But it's been fine.
Do you mind to elaborate a little bit on that? What's the difference? I like to hear that because I like of course everybody it's not wrong. It's just everybody does things different. So what was like a little bit of the difference between you and Frank, I guess?
Frank always liked a tighter car.
And explain a little bit for those. You mean just like where it like doesn't have much movement? Is that what you're talking about? Like in a car? Is that what I'm thinking?
So when a car is tight, it's understeer, as they say in road course racing. It's when the front end, the rear end has more grip than the front. So you go on the turn, you turn the wheel, and the car essentially wants to go straight. That's what a tight race car is. You would hit the wall with the right front with a tight car. When the car is loose, you go on the turn, and the front end has more grip than the rear, and the rear wants to pass the front. And that's called oversteer, but we call it loose. And if you were to hit the wall, you'd probably hit with the right front or back hitting the wall. So Frank always kind of went toward a tighter car, and I don't know how he did it, but if I got in Frank's car, I'd shove up the racetrack. It just wasn't me. Frank would get in his car and be, his right front tire would be 10, 15 degrees hotter than his right rear, which means, that's our heat. So it'd be hotter on the right front than the right rear because the car's tight. So the right front's doing more work. And he hauled the mail like that. He was always fast on the intermediates like that, and that's fine. And I was the opposite. I always wanted a 5-10 degree hot on the right rear, and that thing be freer, so to speak. And that's just the difference between us. And there's no right, wrong, and indifferent.
Right.
It's just strictly driver preference, and that's just pretty much all there is to it. I mean, the tighter car is actually a little bit better for you because you're not going to get yourself in trouble chasing the car off the track and stuff if you miss the turn.
Right. Well, I think it's really interesting, and for us that are we know somewhat, but not all that we don't know all the tricks of the trade. But it's interesting because obviously both styles work because you all have been successful. It's just interesting to hear what everybody kind of prefers, your preference.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. You watch the Cup races and stuff, and when they changed crew chiefs, sometimes it takes 10, 15 races for them to get on the same playing field because that crew chief has to figure out what changes that driver likes, and that driver has to figure out how to communicate that to the crew chief and how to make the car, how he can communicate the feel that he wants to the crew chief and, achieve that feel that the driver wants ultimately.
Now, can you watch a race and you can tell how that is kind of lined up, whether it's tighter or whether it's looser? Can you tell by looking at a car, like when you watch them race?
Sometimes, as a driver, your job is, you map that. Like, I should be able to drive the car, and you can't, a trained eye shouldn't be able to see if my car is tight or loose unless I'm really hustling the car. It's 5 to go on racing for position. At that point, you're probably going to be able to tell whatever my car is doing because I'm going to start letting it hang out, whether it's loose or tight or whatever. But, like in practice or in the middle part of the race, you as a driver, you'll probably be a little bit more conservative and just try to make sure you keep the car under you and wait for a chance to make an adjustment on it.
Well, I love that, and I really appreciate you, sharing all that. I think I think learning about racing makes it more, I guess, enjoyable from those maybe that weren't raised like you were. Like didn't have that. And you want people in the stands. I'm going to use the example of football. A lot of people don't like football because they don't understand it, and maybe that's if you will, I mean that respectful. But a lot of times on racing, we don't know what all we're looking at, and looking for.
I get it. I can't watch it. I can't watch a cup race on Sunday. I'm not going to sit down on the couch and watch one straight through when it's 85 degrees and sunny outside. Anyway, I got 3 kids anyway. I'm not sitting down and doing anything and having time to myself. Forget it.
That's why you're a smart, happily married man.
Yeah.
It's true. It's hard, you know what I mean? But, it's awesome right here to have this right here in our backyard, Salem. We welcome you. We're so excited that, we've got a new track owner and new manager. I'm going to throw out a name drop, Glenn Luckett. He's rocking it. He's doing a great job. And he's bringing a lot of races. He's bringing a lot of greatness. And he's bringing, for our community, this is a big deal. And also, it's getting family. He's made it family friendly, so that the whole family can be a part of this. And how are you with that, Will? How do you treat the youngsters and possibly the future drivers coming up? Do you get photos with them? Do you get to talk to them, or how are you with your fans?
Yeah, I mean, most we're in Clarksville, Indiana, so most of the time my garage door's open, and we get quite a bit of foot traffic through the shop. So, and my wife's I was going to say second grade teacher. She's a kindergarten teacher now. But my wife's a kindergarten teacher. So, when the opportunity presents itself, we've taken the cars out to her school and stuff. So, it's important to keep the youngsters interested in it, and it's kind of hard right now because they have so many outlets that they can go to, whether it be an iPad, a cell phone, and then all the other sports that they can get involved in. Racing is a hard one, strictly because it's not a sport where talent advances you. It's about how much sponsorship or money you can bring to the table. So that's kind of what makes it tricky. You need to be very, very good on social media and know how to market yourself to put yourself out there in front of them companies to bring the money to the teams. And that's something that if my kids want to race, that's probably where I'm going to start them at. I don't think I always wanted to work on the cars. I always did. I grew up watching my dad and my uncle build race cars. Frank was building them, and Dad was more the setup guy. And I sit there and watched all that through the early 90s. And as a kid, I'd walk to the shop and get there, and that's what they were doing. So that's what I wanted to do. I want to do what I'm doing, but it's not it's not something I can make money and put myself in the driver's seat doing this. I can take care of other people's cars, but I can't go and run a full ARCA deal working like I do. So for William, Waylon, even my little girl Ella, if they want to do this, if there's youngsters listening to me, focus on how to present yourself on social media and how to present yourself to them sponsors and market yourself well, because that's where it's at.
Well, I agree, and I think you're being very modest there, because also your talent, you know what I mean? And Will, you've got to have a huge talent to be this. Not everybody, and also you got to be a little bit of that warrior, I guess, that thrill seeker, right? Or that Geronimo.
Yeah, that's probably true.
No, I know it's true. Drive it like you stole it, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so you have to have a little bit of that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just laughing. I'm thinking about your wife, sending you out to the store for milk and bread.
She ain't driving with me.
I can only imagine how quick you could get that back.
I'm in the car. She won't drive. She doesn't want to hear it.
I love that so much. Well, it's pretty awesome. So do you think that maybe your children, of course, I think too, teaching them, I think you've got you have to be so well-rounded, like what you're talking about, the sponsor, but you're talking about mechanics, to that, also that little bit of a thrill seeker there, and also, knowing to be a good driver, correct?
Yeah, the driving thing is something that I can't focus on until I'm at the racetrack. It goes back to the getting the cars ready and stuff. I don't have a simulator. I don't have iRacing, but I don't have time. Even if I had it, I wouldn't. I'm not sure that I would do it, because I got 3 kids at home. I've got a wife. I've got a complete separate life from this. And I really able to go back and watch races and do all that. But the thing of it is you just got to rely on your experience. You got to think through it and think about different scenarios through the day, and that's kind of what I go by. And other than that, just got to make sure my race car is where it needs to be.
Right, and probably just comes kind of natural to you. I mean, you kind of like I always. It's always interesting to me because, like you've got a group. You're here you are on the track. I'm gonna try to bring this in. What goes through my mind is you got everybody's there together in a track, and then then the race starts, and you've got seconds to get in front of that person, or and then of course you don't want to run into that person. I mean, like it's crazy how much I'm maneuvering. You think about that because I always pretend, and I try to say the speed limit for any state troopers that are listening, but I always pretend like when I'm on the interstate how it would be because when you're trying to pass someone or go around or I'm thinking that in a race, I mean, you have so many, it's so congested, if you will, especially at sometimes, how to get in front of someone.
Yeah, you start looking kind of, you try to look ahead and you know who you're racing against. That's the biggest thing, in the ARCA deal, you got to know who you can race around, who you can't race around, who you need to be careful around. You got to watch the lap cars. You got to know where they're going. We got spotters, but at the same time, if I already have a game plan in my head of what I'm doing, then that's one more person I'm not going to be relying on to make that decision. So you got to know, like at the beginning of the race, we're going to run hard for 5 or 10 laps because everybody's kind of going to test everybody and see how hard do you want to run, how hard are you willing to run for that position. Right. Where do you want to shake out there in the first 5 or 10 laps. And ultimately I like to be I'll run pretty hard at the beginning and try to get my track position, and then hopefully my car can carry me to where I can ease up on it. My car is good enough and I can kind of ride there for the remainder of the stage or the break. We got we got a break at 75, 150, and then we go from 50 to 200. I think that's right. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty close. So you kind of gotta know how that race is ready to play out, and you just kind of got to give yourself an out. You got to watch for definitely got to watch for wrecks and know where you're going. On the bank tracks when somebody spins, they're going to go to the top for a second and then they're coming down. So depending on your distance to them, you've got to be ready to make that decision, depending on how close you are to them to miss them.
So when you're talking like stopping, you mean like running in and getting like maybe your tires fixed or your windshield wiper, or getting not windshield wiper, but getting like your mirror or whatever done? Is that what you're talking about?
So at Salem, it's a 6-tire race. So you'll have if the car is like it should be, you'll come in, take your 2 right sides, go back out for the next break. Then you'll come in on the next break and take your 4 tires right then, but it's a break. So we really don't have a strategy like we used to where it's live pit stop and you take your tires when a caution falls. That's kind of gone now. So we have these breaks like at 75 and 150. The caution's coming out, you come down and get your tires and go back out, and then you line up where you were running on the track. So it's just put a really big emphasis on track position, because you got to have that track position, because once you have that track position and your car is good enough to maintain it, you can kind of lock in that top 3 because you're there, and you really shouldn't lose that top 3 unless your car goes away.
Right. Well, because I'm thinking I'm just gonna, today is ask stupid question day, so I'm gonna, maybe this is kind of stupid, but so Will, I'm thinking as a spotter, like if I was in your ear and I said, Will, you got open on your right side, okay, and there's seconds there, and by the time that it goes from from what I'm saying from my mouth to your ear, somebody could already be in that, right? There could be a driver already in fill that spot.
But as a driver, I think the spotters have a big job. But as a driver, I put responsibility on myself to, I make sure I can see out of my mirror and see that right rear corner of my car. That way, I know that when I say me when he says clear. Like if he says clear quick and how he says it in his voice, I know about how much time I've got. You know, if he's hustling, and he's like, you know, they're calling it. You know, right? You know, you're clear up, but he'll be like clear up now. You know, and then you have to go. Right. And that guy that's going to fill that hole, depending on what time of the race it is, you know, whether it's in the middle of the race or late into the race, you know how aggressive he's going to be, and he knows how aggressive he's going to be. So there's some give and take there.
Okay.
If they have a 10-mile-an-hour run on me, I'm not going to pull up because that's going to cause a wreck. If I'm racing for the guy in front of me and I drive under him and he ends up clearing me back on the outside, and then the guy behind me is just barely getting there, I'll come up because they're going to back off because they can't wreck themselves without wrecking me. And you just got to know how those situations are going to kind of play out, and kind of goes back to experience. So you kind of got to know how much you can take, but you also got to be aware. That's where it comes back to knowing who you're racing and who's smart enough to give you that break, you know, when you need it. And then you got to give that back to them at some point too, if they need it.
Right. Well, I'm just thinking, because then again, I'm just, you know, pointing out too that relationship you have to have with your spotter, because like you know his voice and you know what he's like. It's almost like the you know, like the you know, I guess telling you know exactly what his urgency is, right? I mean, you kind of got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I've got a spotter. I've got a mirror in my car, and I'm watching the right rear. Not because I don't trust him, but because if I know where I'm at, I know what I can make that decision faster without him telling me. Just from the time he has to push the button and tell me on the radio, I can make that decision in the seat as well. Some people don't use their mirrors, but for a longest time when I raced mini cups growing up, that's all I had was my mirror. So you learn how to use them, and you know where to set them to watch the important. You kind of watch the areas of the car that can get you wrecked. So I always position my mirror to where I can see the right rear corner of the car and the right rear quarter window, which is right above the right rear tire. I can see all that with my mirror, and then you know, if they hit me in the left rear, I can chase it up the track. If they hit me in the right rear, they're going to turn me head on in the wall. So that's just kind of how I play it, and I watch that right rear corner, and I know I have a pretty good idea where I'm at with that. Right.
Well, I appreciate you going in detail with us, because it's so interesting, and kind of knowing, I guess you will, it's kind of, I guess it's interesting when you're in the stands and you don't know all that's going on, like the behind the scenes, if you will. So I appreciate you taking us kind of a walk behind there, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot, and not everybody races like that, and that's kind of what's frustrating, you know. And I've been on both sides of it, you know. I've been the young guy that's like driving in there and driving in people's doors and like, man, we're 20 laps in the race, it's time to go. It's like, no, you know. You got Frank out there that'll sit there and ride eighth on you all day, and you'll never hear from him. And then with 20 to go, he's one of the guys to beat because, you know, he ain't touched nobody all day. His body's straight. You know, that was Frank's whole motto right there, was he just get to the end of the race, not tear his race car up. And, you know, most of the time he was really good about taking an 8th to 10th place car and either winning with it or finishing in the top 5. So that's something that took me some time to be able to incorporate, because I didn't want to wait. I'm not patient. More like my dad when it comes to that. But, you know, when you're running these longer races, you know, you got 200 laps. As long as you stay on the lead lap right now, you got 150 laps before you need to do anything.
Right. That's, you know, yeah. And it's cool to hear the different styles. And I think that's why, you know, you have different fans and everybody loves different drivers, you know what I mean? And why they're, you know what I mean? And why they follow, you know, certain ones. So let's go back to your car. What kind of car do you have? And tell us about your car and and I definitely want to know your colors and your number to make sure we can cheer you on.
Well, we've had the same number since 1949. We're number 69. We've been red and black since probably 1964, 1965. It's just family colors.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that so much. Yes.
This car is a little different because usually we're a gloss red. We wrapped it flat red with a flat black hood. It's got neon faded numbers. you can't miss it. It's a Mustang. It's a new Mustang body. It's probably top 2 or 3 nicest cars that we've been able to bring out of the shop. So pretty proud of this one. Pretty excited for it. For the fans that have gone to Salem before, they know our colors. It's actually the same scheme my late models were, my street stock, my dad's late models, my grandpa's cars, all that stuff. It's never changed.
I love that. And I think that's fantastic. And I think your family has to be just overjoyed that tradition's continuing.
They are. It takes a lot. My sister does like a lot of the hero card stuff and some of my social media stuff. My mom and her bank, is on the car in the Washington State Bank. They always help for Salem, and then we've got Weddington Custom Homes. That's a local deal. Down Syndrome of Middle Tennessee is on here through Donnie Mingus, who's another racer that helps us, and then another racer that I actually drove his car last year and won the firecracker race in Salem with. His service center is back there, J&A Auto, United Mechanical, all local people, pitching in to help us, and it's just expensive, so anything helps, and helps us, allows us to do this, and then, like I said, that's where the family comes in helping, and my mom and my sister, my dad, and then, my wife putting up with, 11, 12-hour working days when she's already a teacher, she's around kids all day, she's got to go put up with 3 more at night, pretty much by herself till 8 or 8:30 at night till I can get home. Yeah. So it takes all of us.
Where's your dad? He's out racing again,
Yeah.
Strap him in a car seat in the back and let you go.
Yeah, my oldest is getting to where he goes with me. He's 6, and he really enjoys it. He knows the ARCA field. He knows all the numbers in the cars, and knows who we need to beat. And he's really, really smart about it. He's pretty strategic when it comes to watching the races, and has a pretty good feel for it. So that's fun. It's a fun age to be able to do with him. And my second one, Waylon, he's 4, and then Ella's just a little over a year.
Well, won't that be cool if she becomes your race car driver? Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be, but we're going to break the mold if that happens. She's not going to come up like the rest of the girls have. I'm just going to leave that alone. I'll be as politically correct as I can on that.
Okay. Okay. Well, no, I think it's awesome, and I think the whole family's got to be very proud of you, and I think it's awesome. I love, of course, I'm a huge a believer in respecting, your family, and, of course, my station's family owned. My dad started this, and I love that I can continue doing what he started, and I know that that's got to be in your blood too, your family, and everybody's got to be extremely proud of you. And I think it's awesome, and I think, your oldest son, 6 years old, seeing this, he's just loving every minute of it. And I think that's one thing great about racing. It brings the whole family in, and just like you're talking about working with your dad, and your mom, everybody being a part. I think it's, if you want to, it's a profession, but it's also if you want to say, a hobby to bring everybody together, if you will. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, it can definitely bring a family together, or split one up pretty quick.
Well, and I think your mom and wife, I feel for them, watching, someone you love, and knowing that, you have to give a lot of respect. This is, we're talking today about all the great things, but it can be very dangerous too.
Yeah, we've had a couple of close calls, but I've been very fortunate.
Well, okay, we got your colors, we got your number. I knew that, and I figured that you were going to continue. I just want to make sure you didn't change it. But will you be available for anybody that wants to get photos prior to the race or after the race, or how do you usually? Because everybody kind of does it different.
We have I think we have a meet and greet on the front stretch before the race. I think I've seen that on the schedule of events.
I think so too. That's what I thought. Okay.
About knowing about what's going on race day, especially when I'm driving.
Right. So that would be awesome for people to get to come, and when these are maybe future drivers, and I think that's where a lot of times the drivers, when I talk with them, that's where they got their start. Maybe they weren't family, they weren't it wasn't like your story. I love everybody has a different story. But some of them have said they just sat in the stands and they watched us and they were like, I want to do this,
Yeah, that's where it starts. Absolutely.
And I think you get the bug, if you will, you get bite you, and then of course you just want to continue and you want to do it. And now, do you dabble a little bit with going up on the high bank, or do you try to stay away from that, Will? I meant to ask you that earlier.
As far as what now?
Like when you're driving, do you get a little bit like concerned when you get a little higher than up on those high banks?
No, you do. When the pipes start echoing off the wall, you're close enough. Like that's you're on it. When the exhaust starts resonating inside the car, you're getting about all you can get.
Okay. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Okay, we'll let you. We'll take your word on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Will, it's such a pleasure to talk to you this morning, and I'm glad we did all. I feel like we all jumped hurdles this morning to get this conversation, and this interview. But I appreciate you hanging with me, and I'm so proud of you. And I know we're excited to have you here and welcoming you for sure at Salem Speedway, and it'll be this Saturday, September the 30th, and it's going to be great. The weather's fantastic. Couldn't ask for better weather.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of nice. It's always good to have good weather, but the fall race in Salem is always special. It's always good to be at night. It's always good to be under the light. Cool fall weather doesn't hurt anything, but man, this one's always special to us.
Right, and actually the doors open at 3:30. The racing will begin at 6 with the Diesel Boys Gas Series, future followed by the ARCA Menards Series 200 at 7:40. Kids 12 and under free, which what a blessing for families, right? Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, especially when you got 3.
And we know that they like to eat the concessions too, right? It's such a blessing that they're children friendly, and fans can save big money if you purchase the tickets at local area Menards locations, or you can purchase them online for discount prices. So again, Salem Speedway, you guys are fantastic, and Will, you just welcome. We're excited and have a safe trip coming up. You'll notice, Will, when you come into our community, we're doing a lot of construction, but it's nothing you can't handle.
Oh
So.
Yeah, I've been up there. A couple times. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. We take it. We're gonna give you your first road race, okay? When you go through our community.
So.
But anyway, keep up the great work. We'll be cheering you on, Will. Thanks for talking with us today, hon.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and we'll see everybody at the races this weekend.
Sounds great. Thanks, Will. All right. Aaron, isn't he awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. I do want to say that I'm getting a lot of text about the, of course, Autumn wants to say her favorite is 7 Brides for 47 Brothers is her favorite. And then I heard, and then I'm getting text that there's no stupid questions, just stupid people. So.
Yeah.
Well, I won't tell who sent that one, okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's funny. So I appreciate people listening, and we appreciate the interview, and thank you for setting it up. Glenn Luckett at Salem Speedway, come and see us. Come see everyone. It's going to be fun racing, and it's a great family time for sure.
Sure.
Aaron, thank you for hanging out with me.
Thanks for having me.
Meadowview Healthcare Center, Salem Crossing, you guys are great sponsors and all that you do for the community. And of course, I know you are always busy with running both buildings back and forth. Yeah, so let's thank our other sponsors.
We have Walmart, Hoosier Uplands, Americans for Prosperity, Fox Pirelli Wealth Management, Leader One Financial,